do something. At its most basic, the nudging process that the writer has to bring to bear on occasion should be about saying to the character, get up off your arse. Do something. Every character is a potential disgruntled teenager lying in the box room upstairs covered with the duvet saying, later, I'll get up later. Because no character wants to do what I want him to do. No character wants to hang off the side of a building not knowing what's going to happen in the next chapter or on next week's episode. Only the idiots. And I suppose there are the idiots. But you need to get the character moving. You need to get the character off his home base, off her home base, out of their element. And in a sense, I often think of it as during the course of his or her life, a character, myself included, will maneuver on the seesaw until I'm standing in the middle of the seesaw, on the fulcrum. I've got one leg on the left side, slightly, one leg on the right, but I'm balanced. And that's where I'm comfortable. When something bad happens, I start sliding one way on the seesaw. When something good happens, I start sliding the other way. And I like to be in control. I like to be in the middle. And even a miserable character will have a miserable seesaw and be standing in the centre. So he or she is in control. So the trick for the writer is to get a character a little bit off this home base, to tease them out, to nudge them out, to provoke them out, to force them out. Now, Mary is always in control. She's the CEO of a big urban district council. And all of the male staff under her really resent the fact that she has risen so high and they haven't. There's some kind of twisted fate that has befallen them. And Mary's always in control there. Now, cut to Mary's home life. Is Mary in control in her home life? It's more interesting if she's not, or at least not in everything. Because then you're seeing the other side of Mary's seesaw. You're seeing what she's compensating for by, I don't know if she's a bully, I haven't quite seen her enough yet, but by constantly reminding people of her power, her attitude. So you start to see the other side of her. Then you see the possibilities for movement and change. Because if a character is the same all day, every day, the story hasn't begun. Once upon a time, there was a little boy, or once upon a time there was a little girl, or once upon a time there was a king and a queen, and they lived in a castle, or they lived in a little wooden log pile down at the end of the garden, and the sun was always shining, or it was always raining, and they used to go to school on the back of frogs, etc., etc., etc. And then, one day, ... That's when the story starts. When the character has to encounter something that is going to result in change. It doesn't have to be huge change. It doesn't have to result in her swinging on the minute hand of Big Ben and wondering how I got to get out of this. It can be something much smaller than that. It doesn't have to be fire. It doesn't have to be car chases. But it has to be threatening to that character's sense of herself. Miserable characters don't want to change. They don't want to be happy. I'm not sure if this is true, but I'm going to say it for the moment to try to follow it to its logical conclusion. And happy characters, obviously, I'm not sure, don't want to be miserable. But in a sense, any of us, once we identify who we are, don't really embrace change as often as we say we would if we were given the chance. Everybody's queuing up, as it happens, week upon week, to buy lotto tickets. Most of them are secretly terrified that they would win, because they would have to face all of the things that they know are inside them, all their demons. So there's an interesting story. Somebody who thinks they want something, but when they get it, And this is why we're all fascinated by the stories of the poor lotto winners whose lives have come to ruin, and there seems to be many of them. So that inside the golden egg, there's often a malevolent serpent. And that's what any writer is looking for in a story. That's the fairy tale description of it, but it's the same truth. So if we're writing the story about Johnny and Mary, we're still looking for the golden egg, and we're still looking for the darkness that's inside it.